Hello everybody, welcome back. It's me, your old pal Orpheus, with another edition of Orpheus Plays. Here playing Blade and Sorcery, the best game in the world where you can load things like a ninja dojo. As if you couldn't tell, this is one of the modded levels in the game. Right there from the modding system in the main menu, you can go ahead and install this. It's the Ninja Weapons Pack, actually. And, where is it? The Ninja Weapons Pack right there, you'll see it. It also includes a map. They don't really put that right out in front, but it does show it in the picture. Anyway, hope you're doing well today, wherever you are, whether it's day or night, or you find yourself in an 80s ninja movie and you're waiting for your foe to come out, who's probably Sho Kosugi. If you know anything about ninja movies, you just went, oh yeah. Anyway, hi, how you doing? So today I want to talk about something. Boy, this is an interesting one. My parents thought that I might have been a serial killer. No, hold on. Well, we'll get to it in just a second. Shut up. Just stay with me on this one. Okay, so today we're going to be playing the mercenary melee only wave kind of level here. So we'll start things off. It's going to be, I think, a one-on-one. What is this? What am I doing? Is this a one-on-one? Oh, please tell me this is a one-on-one. All right, since we're in the ninja dojo, let's start with our wakizashi. First traditional slow motion kill of the day in the ninja dojo. I honor you, madam, and your ancestors, and all that, as I kill you completely, like a ninja would, with a nice head chop. And, I missed. Whee! Keep it up in the air. And you get it, sir. You get some... Oh, no. The joke is there. You make it yourself. Anyway. Alright, so today, boy, it's another good day for murder in here, and I wanted to talk about, like I said, this is an interesting one. When I was a kid, so I've told in a couple other videos, I had a head injury by the time I was 8 years old. Pretty bad one, too. Wait, no, ninjas don't use swords. What am I doing? And so I had a pretty bad head injury when I was a kid. At 8 years old. Smacked my head into the side of a building. Aha. And I had some good damage that we didn't really know about. My parents didn't know about it. It was kind of a time where you couldn't just go get a CAT scan done. I mean, it was more of a... What? What's going on here? Oh no. Oh no. It's the Walking Dead. She won't die. She won't die. Oh no. It's like one of those punching guys that you have for training. She just kind of stays there. That is really weird. Anyway, so I had that head injury, and it wasn't really known at that time. We didn't find out about it until like 35 years later, something like that. Anyway, so I had started to exhibit some strange like social kind of interactions. I was being a little bit violent towards kids, my peers. I was, I started stealing and lying and like total, I mean like kleptomania, like shoplifting. I was crazy. I was taking things, like sometimes I wouldn't even try to hide it. Like I would just grab something and walk out of a store. Anyway, so they're all signs of something going on, right? Well, so my parents sent me to a therapist at the request of the school that I was going to. They were like, we have noticed that Orpheus is starting to show some signs of difficulty. Like, you might want to consider a therapist. And so they did. Again, there's nothing wrong with having gone to a therapist. I am absolutely unashamed about it. I mean, people go and do that stuff. Why hide it? Why not talk about these things? It makes it less of a... Oh, no. Less of a societal taboo when we talk about these things, right? Okay, so they sent me to a therapist, and there were episodes, like sessions that were just... Oh, it's a... What is going on today? Oh, I had this in another video where they just wouldn't, like, they're just hanging around, you know? Anyway, So there were some of the therapy sessions where my parents were with me, and some of them, more of them with me by myself. Now, what I didn't realize until later was, just like looking back at it and looking at all the evidence and everything, like all the data that I have on it. So I found the medical records. The medical records show things like conduct disorder, and that's sociopathy, or being a sociopath when you're younger than 15 or something like that. And so I had also exhibited some other signs that were a little alarming. If you go and you look up like the 3 traits of serial killers, it is okay. It's pyromania, which is an obsession with fire, which I had. I used to I was a little pyromaniac. I'm going to tell a story about, and eventually, about setting off fireworks in the fireplace in my house. Is he just going to hang around? You just going to chill? He's just going to chill. He's practicing for a limbo contest. Anyway, so yeah, I did things that were dumb, like setting off fireworks in the fireplace in my home, things like that. Anyway, so pyromania, that's the first one, right? And then there's wetting the bed, which, hey, again, people do this stuff, right? Why be ashamed about it? Especially when I'm a grown man. It's like, what are you gonna go, hey, you peed your bed, little boy? Yeah, when I was like, 8 to 10 years old. Everybody calm down. All right, so, I had that, and then there was the cruelty to animals thing. Now, before you get all, crazy about it, I didn't actually, come on. When you're younger, you do stupid stuff like you catch frogs and tadpoles and stuff, and collect lightning bugs and everything like that. Well, I used to go a little far with the frogs. Like, instead of let them go, anyway. Nothing. No, it's not like I did anything weird like dissect them and try to look at what their insides looked like or anything. It wasn't anything violent. I just normally I wouldn't let them go. I'd kind of get rid of them in other ways. Again, look, don't judge me for this. I was I was a kid with brain damage. I still got brain damage, but it was very hard to control things. I've matured out of basically all of it. So anyway, so that's the 3 things. It's cruelty to animals, which come on. They mean like, dogs, cats, hanging neighborhood cats by their tails and, tying them together and everything. I didn't show any of that, but like that kind of normal childhood, come here, you wuss. He's like, no, I know your reputation. Where'd he go? Come here. Anyway, so, I'm sure that a lot of people did that kind of stuff with frogs and tadpoles and stuff growing up. But my parents saw that and they were like, oh no, so that's all 3, right? So, again, I didn't find out until later what they actually thought. Because looking back, again, there's all this information that I have. So, one of the pieces of evidence that I have, again, looking back, my parents spent a lot of money, on these things. They were like, I can't remember the specific brand name or anything, but they were like these, and you're gonna laugh, but they were records. Okay, they were actually vinyl records, and I think there were some cassettes towards the end of the run there. And they were like, morality tales. It was like, little stories and songs about like how not to infringe on other people's rights and how not to touch people and like hurt them and like don't be violent. It's bad, You should always remember that you are the best judge of your character and stuff like that. It was like, looking back, I used to listen to these songs like, what's one of the songs? And God, I'm gonna have this with the music stuck in my head thing from my schizophrenia. This is gonna be bad the rest of the day, but it's worth it for the sake of the story. There was this song, and if you want, look it up. I'm not motivated to do it because I just it's just a memory. I don't need to like validate it anymore. It's a song called "You're Right, Stop" at the end of my nose. Right? Oh, I can already hear it in my head. Oh no, it's already starting. You're right, stop. You're right, stop. Anyway. It was a ridiculous like set of like books and music and tapes and records and stuff, and it's like, what, why, you know? And I go and I see that kind of material now, like they use them in programs for like not just troubled teens, right, or troubled kids. These are like the materials that they use for like hardcore, like, you know, kid kills his entire family at like 9 years old and they put him in a special institution. These are like the materials that they give the kid to like entertain them. So it's not like, you know, it's not like, you know, cartoons or anything. It's these books and records and stuff, and I assume, you know, digital media now, but of like telling you, oh, you should be a good person. It's kind of like, oh my god. And then so there was that, and then there was the fact that they would try to like keep me from doing things. So my parents would okay, I would go to school and my parents would sanitize my room, or at least my mom would. My dad went to work, so he didn't have time to do this stuff. But my mom would I'd leave the house and I would come back after school. And this happened the entire time that I lived with my parents. Whenever it was, it happened. Wow. He's an ostrich. This happened most of the time. Well, no, all the time when I lived with my parents, whenever it was. Alright, things are getting weird. But so I would go get a poster or something, right? Just like a normal poster, right? Like a Lamborghini with a girl in a bikini sitting on the front of it or something, right? Or I don't know, a movie poster for something like Pulp Fiction or something like that. And or I would go and buy the movie The Point of No Return. This one sticks in my head. It was a Bridget Fonda movie, and it's an American remake of La Femme Nikita. And the front of the tape at that point, the VHS tape. Oh my God, I'm so old. Oh, holy hell! Back in the old days, when we had those VHS tapes, but no, it was a VHS tape, and the front of it, the cover of it was Bridget Fonda in a slinky outfit, and she was posing on one side of it, with her leg up or something, like a normal, like a normal pose for what the character is. She's trying to be a seductive spy. Okay, well, my mom apparently thought that was an adult movie because she took that from me. But what would happen is I'd go to school, and my mom would apparently go into my room and just start taking stuff out, going through everything that I owned, and taking things like knives, like a pocket knife or something, like a Swiss Army knife, or I was in the Boy Scouts for a little bit. She would take my Boy Scout knife, or lighters, if I had lighters in my room. Okay, well, you might think, well, when you were a pyromaniac when you were a kid, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, she would do this when I was 17. Okay, so, all the way up until I lived with my parents a few times in my 20s. Again, no shame in this stuff. I'm sure a lot of people do it these days. No big deal. But I'd go off to my job or something, or to school or whatever, and I'd come home, and there'd be my room would just be no posters on the walls, half of my tapes missing, no lighters. I smoked at that point. And it was just why did you, oh man. And so what I would do is I would do reverse reconnaissance and retrieval missions. So I'd wait until, my parents left to go somewhere, and then I'd break into their room. And yes, by the way, they put a lock on their bedroom door when I started going to therapy when I was 8 years old. Again, another thing, if my parents thought I was a serial killer, my brother, they even put a lock on his bedroom door and never allowed me to have one. And again, looking back, it's oh my God, it's because they thought I was gonna kill them in their sleep. And the funny thing is, right, I never even came close to anything like that. I see all these cases in the news these days of someone got told that they can't play their Xbox or something, and he murders his entire family. It's what? Right? Oh, they abused me. It's what do you mean they abused me? Oh, they didn't let me play my Xbox when I got home from school. It's is that it? Yeah. It's like, okay. So you murdered your entire family for that? So, but like, back then, shoot, if you want a definition of a kid who was abused, just, you know, kind of thumb through my diary. And I didn't end up hurting anyone in my family. I didn't end up hurting anybody in my life. You know, like, by this point, if I was a serial killer, I would have, you know, already started collecting bodies in my crawl space. Don't have a crawl space, but you know what I mean. That would have already happened by now. But, like, they thought that I was going to kill them in the middle of the night. Like, oh my God. And if there was going to be a case where someone was going to horribly wreck their family, well, that probably would have been statistically me more than most. So, I don't know. It just seems funny to me, and like a little appalling that whole time, whenever I was living at the house, you know, growing up or anything, my parents, they thought I was going to start killing people or something. And let's be honest here. I was not a very well-behaved or calm kid when I was, you know, around that age. Ooh, the slow blade penetrates the shield. But like I'm like, I'm not a psycho as I'm sitting here slashing and chopping things up. But like, it's weird to me that they really actually thought that I might like take them all out or take someone else out. And yes, like I'm saying, I had violent tendencies towards my peers and stuff at that point, and that's what, you know, the therapy would focus on. But like, again, this is piecing it together. You know, the pyromania thing, I didn't even realize it. Like, yes, I'm gonna tell a story about some of the things I set on fire when I was a kid. But like some of those, yeah, I mean, I realized that I did those things, but I never was like, oh, you know, that was pyromania. But then I think about it, and I go, well, a lot of the sessions with my therapist at that point were like, oh, did you set anything on fire? Why did you do it? What do you like about fire? And it's like, wait a minute. So anyway, have you found out anything about like what people thought about you when you were younger? Or like what sort of things people thought that might be wrong with you when you were a kid, or you know, now or whenever it is? Because it's fascinating to me to find out now that my parents legitimately thought that I might like do something. I know I keep saying that, but it's like, it's amazing to me that like that's the reality of things. And all those books and records and stuff about like how to be a good person, and like it was total brainwashing. It was disguised behind little fluffy songs like the one I said. Oh no, that You're Right, Stop one. But like it was just total, I would call it brainwashing, like honestly. Anyway, that's my little thing for today. Don't worry, your old pal Orpheus is not a serial killer in any way except for in this game. Boy, if there's like a digital world like Ready Player One or something for this game, I'm probably FBI's most wanted, or at least up there in the top 5. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Here as I wreck some more faces, get some more practice in here in the Ninja Dojo, working on my moves. I hope you're doing good. I hope you continue to do good. And you know what? Treat yourself well, because you deserve it. See you in the next one. Bye!